Hi, I'm Grace Bruin and these are my week 4 reflections. So basically in week 4 what we looked at was just ensemble research, like what it means to be in an ensemble and what an ensemble means, like the definition of it, and then why we use it in performances, and then also why we're using it in our performance of Buckets. So then we also went to work on ensemble parts in Buckets as a class. We've done that quite a lot, so it's just like going over it and just recapping it. So for the beginning of my scene, or our scene, my group scene, the very beginning of the performance, it's like a birthday party. So there's 3 blocks set out at the back that me, Caden and Katrina will be like sat on or stood on. And then Eve is stood at the front when the birthday scene ends. But for the ensemble part, everyone enters with Happy Birthday playing, like by Stevie Wonder. So they just enter and then they're all just like dancing and talking, and then Eve's walking through, and then us 3 advisors are at the back following behind to make it like kind of eerie, and we've just got like this deadpan expression on our faces. We're not like smiling or having any emotion. So then everyone goes up to her. They say a few lines, and it's like, get ready for your first day at school, your first bad haircut, your first heartbreak, stuff like that. And then once they've said that, the 3 advisors give them a look, and then they exit the stage. And then once everyone's gone, it's Eve in the middle, and then we've all, me, Caden and Katrina, have stepped up onto the blocks, and then it's like we're looking down at her like gods sort of thing, and it like levels, also gives the impression of like our powers over her, because it's like we're selling her life pretty much, and we want her to read the terms and conditions, to accept life and go into it. And then we've also got, we were thinking of the idea of having the blocks wrapped up to look like presents, and then we rip them off at the end, which like, it's like a happy environment, starts on a high, and then it's like boom, like eerie, dark, mysterious. And then we have other ensemble scenes that I'm included in. I'll just talk about them. So there's a train station scene, which is part of Kate and Lucy's piece. So what happens is we all of us come on from one side of the stage and then exit from another side. So we all come on stage left and then mingle about, chat for a bit. Me, Katrina and Eve are at the front, and then Eve's just like showing pictures to Katrina, and then I ask, excuse me, do you know where platform 2 is, or something like that? And then Eve's like, no, but do you know, see my daughter Sandy here? Yeah, and then just starts talking about that, and then I'm like, oh yeah, my daughter's called Sandy as well, and it's just this whole carry on, and Katrina's just stood there like, oh no, I want to go away. And then she goes, oh, this is my train, and then Eve goes, oh, this is my train as well. And then I'm like, me too. So then we all follow on, and Katrina's like, oh, just leave me alone. So, and then the rest of the ensemble leave on stage right, and then that's when Kate and Lucy's scene begins. And then another scene that we've got is the high street scene, where I think Claire had this idea. This is Claire and River's scene. Claire had the idea of us just walking back and forth into the wings, and like putting a hat on or putting a wig on, so it looks like there's multiple people, which I thought was quite a good idea, because it also shows like how we can adapt to the scene and make it look bigger than it actually is. So starting out for the high street scene, it was me and Katrina. We started out in a pair, just sitting on the floor like pretending to be homeless, but then we scrapped that idea because it was a bit boring and we didn't really know when to leave. So we're just walking about, just wandering about, I'm sometimes interact with other people doing their own thing in that scene, and then I just leave whenever I feel is necessary. And then Claire and River begin their scene, and then there's also a cue. I'm not sure what it is, but there's a cue for when we bring on benches for Amelia, Keenan, Esther's scene, which is the boardroom meeting scene. So that's also ensemble work, also like collaborating with crew work. But if we didn't have the ensemble, none of this would be able to happen. So that's why having an ensemble is very important in performances. And then we just worked on transitioning between the scenes as well. Like I just spoke about, bringing the benches on. We've made that quite a smooth transition. So it's like, so there's 2 blocks that Esther sits on one, Amelia sits on one, and then there's just one spare. And then there's a bench and then another bench. So it's set out like a V with a block in the middle, which is quite good. And then we've got this like clock ticking sound, and then office sounds as well. So it's like Amelia's like, I want a new headline, and if you don't find one, someone's getting the sack. So then it's like this clock ticking noise, and everyone's trying to think of a headline, and then Kean puts his pen up in the air like, oh, I've got it, and then he's like, no, I haven't, never mind. And then when he puts his pen in the air, the clock stops, but then he keeps writing and it starts again. But the whole ensemble are part of this, and then they're all like, oh, I've got an idea, and then they're like, never mind. So yeah, then that's just that transition. And then to get from the boardroom to the train station scene, Amelia at the end of that bit goes, everyone out apart from you and you, points to Kean and Esther. And then everyone stands up, and then one person from each side will take a bench off to either side, doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's it. And then the transition at the beginning, at the end of my group scene into Ash's scene, is we just push the blocks together, and then bring one forward, because I think Ash is sitting on that with the microphone, and then they'll do their piece, and then they'll push a block back to transition it into Philippa and Ruby's scene. So then Philippa and Ruby will have 4 blocks at the back, because then Philippa like walks along it, lies down on it, crawls over it, because they're imitating children, so it's like kind of child's play, making it look really childish, and I think that's quite a good transition. And then yeah, I think that's it. Then it's just a blackout, I think. And then we were just really getting to know the play, to be honest. Just going over scenes, seeing how our scenes link with other scenes. And then I've also made some flashcards to like learn my lines, and I'm nearly there learning them. And then we've just been going through the whole rehearsal progress. We did a full run through a few days ago. It was very stop-start, because we weren't really sure of what we were doing, but other than that, I thought it was quite good, and you can really see it coming together now. So yeah, I think it's going to look really good. So yeah.